Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of Unfailing Yourself. And so, if you read the title, you know that today's discussion is a little hot and it's a little heavy. So, let's get straight into it. I know hate is a really strong word, but I really hate complacency. I think that it's the root, or one of the roots, of really destructive things. I think it ruins relationships. I think it ruins relationships in every aspect, with your partner, your loved ones, your families, and most importantly, with yourself.
The definition of comfort or comfortability is having a physical ease and sense of relaxation, enjoying or providing a position of contentment or serenity. Comfort applies to anything that encourages our serenity and our well being. Is this making me happy? Do I enjoy doing it? Does this give me a sense of peace? The definition of complacency is defined as a smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself, a sense of being unaware. The idea that I'm pleased with myself and feel no need to do anything about a situation. I'm just kind of unbothered, unfazed, almost indifferent. Now, the key difference between feeling comfortable and complacent is our mindset. Being comfortable is a good feeling. Being complacent is a sense of stagnancy. Feeling comfortable is a state of mind that allows us to feel confident and competent in most and any area of our life. Being complacent is a state of mind that prevents you from challenging yourself and reaching for more. Now remember, we never want to be stagnant in any area of our life or in anything that we do. We always want to strive for comfortability and not complacency. We never want to feel like we're stuck in a rut or not moving in any direction. Being comfortable is knowing that I might not be where I want to be, but I'm striving for better. It's not this idea that maybe this is just where I'm supposed to be.
How do we know if we're being comfortable or if we're being complacent? And the truth is, the answer is a lot simpler than what we think it is. Is this giving me peace? And I think sometimes we are looking for these big wows. We're looking for the grand gestures to indicate to us that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And sometimes life does give them to us, but most of the time it doesn't. And so these little changes that we make in our lives, or these little decisions that we make, they eventually tell us, or they indicate to us, if we're supposed to be doing it or not. Does this make me happy at night when I've done everything I've needed to do today? I've dealt with everyone I've needed today, and the only other person I need to be dealing with is me and my thoughts. And like I said in the first episode, we can lie to everyone, but we can't lie to ourselves. And so when you're in bed by yourself and the only thing you have are your thoughts, that's when we truly get to understand, am I okay with the decisions that I'm making? Am I okay with the life that I'm living? Do I want to keep carrying on this way? And again, it sounds so much easier said than done, right? And it's not. It really is not this. You wake up one morning and suddenly you've got it all together. No. And you wake up one morning and you're like, you know what? Yesterday I've decided to make this change. So today I'm back on being this new version of myself. And if only life was that easy, I think that we would all just be a little lighter, but it's not the case. It's a decision that we have to make every single day. And the truth is, we have to be okay with the fact that some days I'm going to get it right, some days I'm not. Some days I'm going to go back to that complacency. And other days I'm gonna not. I'm gonna choose to not deal with that. And that's why life is this marathon. Sometimes I'm running and it's good. Sometimes you're gonna need to stop and have a water break. Some days you're gonna be so out of breath thinking that, what's the point of this? And then eventually we're gonna get to this. I can see the finish line. I can see where this is supposed to be heading, and still feeling like we're out of breath, still needing to stop for that water break. But I think that we are eventually going to get to a point where I don't want to go back to what once was. I've accomplished so much that I just don't want to go back to being that complacent. I just don't want to go back to being in that complacent rut anymore. I want to do things because I see the end goal. I know what's going to bring me peace. And that's how we get to decide if where you are in your life, what am I doing right now? Am I being comfortable or am I being complacent? Personal example. I have this buzzing sound in my ear. Yep, that's exactly what it sounds like every single day. And on some days it's louder, and other days it kind of feels like it's not there, but it's there. And so it's one of those weird things that I can't really tell people can hear the sound in my ear. And it's also not this life threatening disease that I need to go to a doctor for. And so eventually it just became a part of life, a part of everyday life, right? It's, yeah, I've got the sound in my ear, but you just have to keep doing what you need to do, right? And if you're like me, I enjoy sleeping in complete silence and it being pitch black. So you can understand there's a little bit of a dilemma. And so eventually I kind of cracked the code. I learned that if I slept in a certain position, if I turned my body a certain way, that I would be able to kind of get to the silence that I needed to sleep. And so it became this thing of, okay, I need to know how to do it, when to do it. And eventually I just started learning how to accommodate myself around the buzzing sound. And as I grew older, I think life started lifing and your thoughts just, they get loud. And eventually it became a thing of, yeah, I need to block out this noise. I can no longer deal with the thoughts in my head and the sound in my ear. And so, what do? You distract yourself. You scroll on the phone for hours. You decide, you know what, I need my laptop on all the time. And so, because I needed my laptop on all the time, I needed to change my position. And now my ear was exposed, but it wasn't enough for me to go back to the silence sleeping. I had changed my sleeping position and my ear was now exposed. But it didn't bother me enough to go back to closing out that noise because it meant dealing with the noise in my head. So the discomfort was there, but I blocked it out with the distraction, thinking that I'd forget about it or maybe it would go away. Now, for other things in life, this is a great tool. Blocking out our peer pressures, blocking out the bad influences of people. But for this, it wasn't. And eventually, I just grew to deal with it. I knew what it was, I knew when it would happen. And so I would plan around it. I would expect it and I would just go along with it. So I was sleeping, but I wasn't sleeping great. And if I turned over, I knew that I'd be sleeping really amazing. But I didn't want to lose out on all the other things. I'd already grown accustomed to, well, I sleep with the laptop on, so I need this little bit of a noise. And if the only way I can wash my laptop is exposing that ear, that's what I was gonna do. And so eventually one day I decided, you know what, let me revamp my room. Let me change the position of the bed. And suddenly I was sleeping back at the position that would block out this noise. And I could listen to my laptop. But I was sleeping so amazing that I couldn't fathom the idea that this is what I was missing out on. Now the noises were still there. The thoughts in my head were thoughting and sound. Some days they were even louder than the sound in my ear. But I was so fixated on the fact that I was sleeping really, really great. And so eventually I wasn't even worried about my laptop being on. I wasn't concerned about hearing those noises or hearing the buzz in my ear. And again, these things didn't go away, they were still there, but I was sleeping really good. And that was what was most important to me at the time.
Never accept a standard that's not meant for you. Just because it's not physically uncomfortable doesn't mean it's mentally providing you with peace. Never stop yourself from wanting to improve. Do not just accept the mediocre. The need or the want to improve ourselves should not be attributed to a sense of something's wrong with me. And rather, we should learn to accept ourselves, flaws and all. And in this way, increase the motivation to want to do better. The wanting to improve ourselves should stem from a place of love, peace, and gentleness, and not from a place of self criticism. Improvement and progression is a practice of self compassion and forgiveness. And remember to cherish those little victories.
So, to put it in a little bit more of a relatable context, since I know that we don't all want to hear about the buzzing sound in my ear, but I think that we've allowed ourselves to do things that we don't even like doing out of a habit that eventually just grew this sense of complacency that we've kind of misconstrued it for being comfortable. Now remember, what you're not changing, you're choosing. And I'm in no position to be pointing fingers, hence this channel. But I do think it's important to be honest with myself and to hopefully allow other people the opportunity to be honest with themselves too. To advocate for, I don't always have it together, but I do want to unfail that part of myself. And that choosing yourself over temporary or distractive pleasures isn't going to give you this great wow or this audience clap, but it definitely is going to make you feel better knowing that you're supposed to be doing what you're doing. And it's going to make you sleep better, but literally and figuratively. And suddenly, you're not going to want to be this complacent with certain things that are happening in your life. And I think society as well has created this ideology or notion that the moment we change our lives, it's going to be this radical transformation. And so we've kind of gotten into this rut with ourselves that I want to change, I do the change, but nothing happened. And so it just becomes this thing of I'm stuck in a loop. And so eventually we get to this point where, so what? I'm just supposed to hope and pray that the next time is this miracle where I click my fingers and that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be without blemish, without fault. And if only, yeah. But the reality is we're choosing a different narrative, we're choosing a different path. We're not choosing a different Sherelle. I'm still going to be me. And this is the part where we have to unlearn things, we have to relearn things. And we also have to understand the fact that we are on this journey called life. And eventually we have to deal and unpack these things that what once was so that we can be who we want to be. We have to understand the fact that life is a journey. It's not the sprint. It's gonna take time and it looks different for everyone else. So, one, we have to be gentle with ourselves, we have to be kind to other people and offer that same kindness to ourselves. We have to be okay with being uncomfortable, with being scared, with being brave, for having these little moments of I'm doing it, and being okay with the moments that I don't think I have it all together. But to never grow complacent with where we are in our lives if that's not where we want to be. Now, can you imagine if life had a redo button? Would you press it? How far would you go and why? Now, I know for a fact that I would press it, or sometimes I wish I could. I would definitely want to undo a few things. And reality check, there isn't. Life isn't a console game. There isn't three lives. And if you're smart enough to crack the cheat code, hopefully get another. Nope, there's just this one. There is no redo. There is, however, a reset. So whatever you want to change, do it. Start doing it, no matter how small. And remember, you're doing it for you. Always, always remember that. And like, complacency doesn't block out fear. It does stop you, however, from being your true self. In the same manner, choosing yourself was not supposed to gain this gratitude from anyone other than yourself. I truly think that we have grown comfortable with this idea of being a people pleaser, and for the wrong reasons, or at least in one way or another. The idea of making everyone else happy at the cost of yourself. And I mean, no means trying to tell us, you know what, stop being nice to people, only be nice to yourself. No. But I think that we have to start understanding why we're doing it. Am I doing this out of pure habit? Am I doing it out of obligation? Am I doing it because I don't want to start a fight? I don't want to seem or come across as a certain person or a certain way? Or am I doing it because I want to do it? This makes me happy. And so I think these are important things for us to ponder and to think about. Why am I doing the certain things that I'm doing? Am I doing this because I don't want to rock the boat? Am I doing this because I've just been doing this all my life? Or am I doing this because I know that this is getting me one step closer to where I'm supposed to be? And you're probably thinking, you know what, Shal, these are all words, and you're right, they are words. And sometimes I would say them to myself. I'm like, if only life was just that easy, right? The same way if somebody told you I'm feeling sad today, and my advice is, well, stop being sad. And I mean, that's great advice. Like, who wouldn't want to take that, right? And the truth is, it's not that simple. If I thought about that, I probably would do that for myself as well. But we also have to remember you only have one life. I only have this one life. And so I deserve to do things that are going to make me happy. I deserve to do things that are going to make me feel fulfilled. And the same way, you should do things that are going to make you happy. And that's that. We should be doing things that are going to give us inner peace. And so I challenge us this week to do something nice for ourselves, to go get that coffee, to sleep the extra 5 minutes, to take that jog, but to do it because it's going to make you happy. And then I challenge us this week to do something nice for someone, to compliment their hair, to compliment or acknowledge their efforts. The truth is, a little goes a long way. And the most minuscule compliment or thing to us is what would make someone else's day, their week, their month, or maybe just be the changing point for what they needed to hear. So that's all that we have for today. Thank you so much for watching episode 2. If you liked today's episode, give it a like and comment your favorite heart emoji. If you also liked today's episode or today's video, please subscribe to my channel and turn on that bell notification for future episodes. With that being said, here's to learning, to unlearning, and to unfailing yourself. Bye.